It's no secret that last year I felt a little bit like I could do with some more space, and especially kind of spring, early summertime when I was doing lots of planting seeds, bringing things on, what have you, I struggled for space. So I'm going to add a little bit more space in the greenhouse today. That's what this is. So here's the thing, last year, or last spring rather, so not last year, spring past, was the first time that I really grew this amount on from seed myself. I've always grown on my petunias from my hanging baskets, tomatoes, peppers, all that kind of thing. But last year I was growing foxgloves and achilesias and what else? I was growing primrose and primula, marigolds, you know, heaps and heaps and heaps of stuff. And what I found was I ran out of space really, really quickly. So this was one of the reasons why I decided that I needed to find a way to get a bit more space in there. Because I'll be a bit smug here, I think I actually do really, really well in using the space I've got. I really do make, I think, the best use I can of the space in the greenhouse. Now, I'm being very careful here, just bear with me, because one of the things I know about doing foxgloves is they are tiny and they go everywhere, and then you end up with them all year in plants you didn't realise were foxgloves. So these are the foxglove seeds that I picked from the garden. Free seeds. So, as I say, I'm running seriously late this year. So this is me just getting this done now. Because I now have a bit more space and can do this. Not just foxgloves, but as you know, I was wanting to take some cuttings from some of my herbs, so I'm going to do that as well, because now I've got space that I can do it. So I've gone through this with you guys already. I'm not going to show you how to do it now. I will, as usual, I'll put the video up here if you want to see me taking cuttings of basil and how that works. And tarragon. Now, I don't consider this stuff to be really specialist in any way. I think most gardeners know how to do this, but let me know in the comments if you would like me to do an actual video showing you how to take cuttings, tarragon, basil, all that kind of thing. Let me know, okay? And I will do that. But I'll just assume for just now, you guys are all perfectly knowledgeable about all this stuff. So of course the other thing I've been saying that I wanted to get done is carrots. I'd said I wanted to do a bit of an experiment and I wanted to get carrots grown in the greenhouse and in the bed to do a bit of a kind of comparison, and also to watch how they do over winter, because apparently, now I've never tried this, so apparently if you get them sown kind of round about now and get them going, you should then have carrots ready to be pulled and eaten after the first frosts have gone in spring, when the ground thaws, which is quite cool. Saves you having to wait all year. So I thought we'd have a wee go and we'd try that. So that's all. So exactly the same as I did in summer, I'm going to grow on in the greenhouse using the root trainers to bring them on. But I'm also going to sow some right now out in the bed and we'll compare. So yeah, that was the whole thing. Was, you guys know, in the spring you were here with me, you went on this journey about planting and all the different seeds and things I had. But for you guys, now you'll see why I'm doing this, for you guys who've been with me a wee bit longer, you'll know this story. But what I'll do is at the end of the video, I'll post links to the videos about this journey. But I've had this greenhouse for a couple of years now, and I've taken you guys on this journey, and I've constantly spoken about making the most of the space you've got, okay? I think I do quite a good job of it. I've got the staging, which as you can see, I can have up like this so that I can put pots and things on it, work on it, it's a good height. Or on this side, you'll see it's folded flat, and that gives me the full space, the full height for tomatoes and things. And again, the one at the back is a big heavy duty one that stays up, it doesn't fold down. And I spoke about this in a previous video, so I'll link it. But what that does is it gives me options of what I can do with the greenhouse. And having those options is an awesome thing, because in spring or early summer when I've got seedlings going, I'm sowing, I've got small plants, all that thing, I've got space to work and I've got surfaces. But later on in the year when I've got the big plants, I've got the option to change it up. And without the staging that can change, really I don't have those options. And this is a really small greenhouse, it's only 8 by 6. And I keep saying this, guys, it looks much bigger in the videos than it is. But there's a reason when I do videos I'm kind of like this. It's because I don't really have any space to move. And I'm conscious of all the plants around me and stuff. So that's why. So the other thing I've done then is these shelves, which you've just saw Kate and I put up. And the reason for this, okay, when I got this greenhouse, it wasn't cheap. I'm going to be honest with you. It took me a long time to save to get it, and I couldn't afford all the extras, all the fabby things you could have got as standard. So it's taken me time to save and add them and do that kind of stuff. And I've got these shelves in now, which I think is going to be great because it gives me a whole other surface area so that hopefully I'm not going to run out this year, especially over winter when I'm going to be bringing the herbs in and the hydrangeas in and all that kind of stuff. So what I've got then is I've got one shelf going along each side of the greenhouse. You can't see it, but I've got a smaller shelf at the back as well. Now these are not in their permanent positions, okay? This is the wrong time of year for fitting things like shelves. Let me just put that out there. It's impossible to do this properly when you've got all the plants and things in place. But I just got them up just now because one, I wanted to show them to you guys and talk about it. And two, I do kind of need the space because I'm struggling a bit. So once, maybe in about 6 weeks when the season comes to an end here, and I'm going to take all this down and I'll get the staging up and I'll have all my space back again. I'll get this place cleared out and I'll get the shelves properly put in at a decent height and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully that will be it, they'll be in place. But until then, it just gives me these options, and that's all I wanted to chat about today, because the making the best use you can of the space you got is what you have to do, because greenhouses are so expensive. You can't just upgrade to a much bigger one on a whim. Well, I'd love to. Most people can't just upgrade to a bigger one on a whim. So yeah, so you make the best with what you've got, you do what you can, be clever with your staging and your shelving. See if you can move things around, think about your seasons. So again, I'll put the video there for it. Think about your seasons, what do you need at this time and how do you achieve it? And then what do you need in a couple of months down the line, how do you achieve it? For me, I start the year with all the staging round me in a U-shape and it gives me surfaces, and then they get changed depending on what I'm growing and where in the greenhouse I grow it, like you can see now. And of course there is Parker, who is Greenhouse Cat, and does like to have her wee bed there. You going up? Yep, there she goes. A little blanket and a sunbeam for Greenhouse Cat. Like I said, 2 videos for you then. This one is the video where I talk about making the most of the space, and I actually introduce the whole thing about the staging and everything. This is the one where I actually talk about the fact that I'm setting it up for the very first time and talk about my thoughts on that. And I will see you in the next video. I'm going to go in now and just leave her for a wee sleep in the sunshine.